Hey, I'm coming with a question today. Do you have this feeling like no matter what you do, no matter how much you're trying, the change that you want to achieve is always like running away, escaping? It's not possible to achieve. And you work hard and you do whatever you need to do to achieve that in your mind, but it's still not coming. It's not achievable. And I was doing the same for many years. I'm 54 now, and finally something has shifted. And I know how hard it is, and I know how hard it is to believe that the change doesn't really require so much effort. And I will explain how it works, how it came to me, this realization, because it was coming in steps. It was coming in messages from plant medicine, from therapy, from dreams, that there is no way. If you don't try and if you don't risk believing in this, then you will be like this Sisyphus from Greek mythology. Like, I had this image of Sisyphus in my dreams. I was drawing it because it felt so true. Everything that I was doing was like a rock, like a boulder that I was like rolling up the hill, exhausted. And then at the end, almost finished, I was either giving this up or something was happening that I couldn't release my project or something, or I couldn't achieve the change that I wanted. And the rock would just fall down, and this process will just repeat again and again and again, endlessly, forever. Hi, my name is Monica, and welcome to my channel. This channel is called Leave to Live, which means that finally I'm able to leave the situations in my life, the relationship, the work, and everything that is not working for me anymore. And I have enough courage to leave what's not working and try different things. YouTube is one of them. I don't know where it's going to take me, on what kind of a journey, but for the first time in my life, I started doing things that I was always scared to do. What to do to change that? To start believing that the change is possible, that I can achieve things that I'm planning. I did many things. So I went to therapy. Then I went to Peru years ago. It was probably 2024, so 12 years ago. And I worked with the plant medicine, and she gave me a few visions that gave me the answer, but I didn't get the answer then. I'm getting it now. Then I also went to Bali, which was like the last leg of my journey last year. I really wanted to visit this shaman, and that was the same shaman that it was in a film Eat, Pray, Love, and he was reading from your palm. Of course, I was like skeptical about it, but he gave me the two sentences that actually confirmed what I already knew within myself. I also worked with another plant medicine, which also gave me the same message. It was a very mystical experience, so I'm going to mention 3 of them today. And sometimes these deep messages, deep mystical messages, need to brew in you for a long time. They need to be seen from different angles. They need to be tested. Somehow everything starts clicking, like the puzzles in the game. So going back to Peru, one of my visions was that I was sitting in a dark space with nothing else but me, like in a universe, in cosmos, and the only thing that was visible for me were my purses. They were about 10 purses that belonged to me because I could recognize them, and they were like revolving around me, and they were empty. They were open and empty. There was no money in them, and that was very interesting. I was kind of disappointed when I saw that in this vision, because I was like, but that's what I need now. I need the money, I need security. But there was nothing. There were my purses and they were empty. But a little bit further from the distance, there was another me, another version of me that was sitting like in this beautiful antique chest, like from a fairy tale. It was made of gold and very expensive stones. And I was sitting in this chest, and there were like coins, like golden coins pouring down on me in this chest. I didn't have to do anything. They were just pouring down, and I was like happy receiving them. No effort. I didn't get that. Then, now when I was walking yesterday, it finally got to me that like I finally understood what these purses meant for me. Because these purses were like external to me. They were like at a certain distance, and they were empty because I was hoping that they would be filled in by something from outside. They were not in me, they were outside. And so I was creating a distance between me and the money. I was believing that I had to work so hard to fill my purses, and I was getting so, whenever I had money, I was so attached to that money, so fearful about losing them, that it was like it was creating like a strong attachment to it, not a healthy one. And that's why I didn't have enough money. Maybe I had money, but I never felt secure around them. I was fearful that I'm going to lose them, because the source of the money was not within me. And the money is only a symbol. It's like the security, the feeling of safety and security, which money symbolizes. And another vision with the same plant medicine was showing me that I was at the bottom of the ocean, very deep ocean, and I was at the bottom of it. It was very cold and black, and I was alone, and I was out of breath. I was very close to death because I knew that I had only one breath left, and it's not enough to actually swim to the surface of the ocean. And when I looked up, I could see that if I had enough strength or enough air, I would swim to this beautiful surface filled with sun and the seaweeds that were like dancing, and they were like creating this beautiful like bed that were like filled with light and warmth, and there was like this feminine entity that was saying to me, come here and you'll be safe. And I was like in a dialogue with her and saying, how can I swim if I don't have any strength anymore? I'm gonna die here. And she was saying like, yes, if you choose to die, then you will die. If you choose to think that you have no strength, then you have no strength. And I was angry because I knew that I didn't have any strength or any air left. But then she said, it's not the effort. There is no way. There is no effort. It's just a choice. It's the switch. And of course, it was very difficult to believe that this is just a switch, because in my mind, I felt that I had to do so much work to get there. And I really, really desperately wanted to get there. And she said, okay, choose. What do you want to believe? Do you want to believe in the effort and in hard work, or do you want to believe in a switch? It's in your mind. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose now, so I have to choose switch. And I persuaded my mind that there is no effort. and that there is only a switch to be up there with her and feel safe. And in a fraction of a second I was there. And I was like, it felt like I was in a womb, a motherly womb, and I was looked after and stroked, and I felt safe and warm and beautiful. It was beautiful, and the colors and everything, it was so detailed, this vision. So the same motif, the same theme, the same message, really, that there is no way, there is a switch. And then I was in Bali, and I went to this shaman in Ketut, and I was waiting for a long time to actually get there. There is a big queue of ladies searching for the answers. I had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, but finally I got there. And he took my hand and he said, "Oh, Monica, do you want to be happy?" And I said yes, and I started to cry. I was so emotional in a way because I was planning this visit for a long time. I looked at it with a skeptical heart, but it was like a symbolic end of my journey. I really wanted to know what he's gonna say to me. It was like more for fun, but actually it turned out to be very emotional, and he gave me the same message. He said, "Monica, do you want to be happy?" I said yes. And he answered, "Well, darling, if you want to be happy, be happy. If you worry, you will worry." So again, it's the same message. There is no effort and there is no way between you and the things that you want to achieve. So in a way, you have to embody that thing or that person that you want to become, and imagine that you are already that. And I thought to myself, this can't be a coincidence that I'm getting the same messages all the time. And I'm not saying that I'm so wise now and I'm like embodying the change every single time, but so much has changed since I started catching myself with my thoughts, catching myself with, where does this want come from? Do I start from the lack, from wanting? And that started to make a change in my life. And I'm not saying that I have become rich. Actually, the opposite. I am losing a lot of money now. I am going for a major change in my life, and the money is very insecure now because I'm going for a relationship breakup. We're selling the house, which is very, it can't sell for some reason, and we are like, oh my God, what's going to happen? We are ready to go apart, but the house is not selling. But that somehow, in the midst of all this chaos, I'm kind of peaceful, and I can't describe, and I can't say why. And it all started when I started doing things that I was really scared of. Like, I was intentionally choosing the things that I was scared of, imagining that I'm okay with that I am fine, I can deal with it, I've done it many times. So being the change. And I was scared, but I was doing it. And the same with the YouTube. I am scared, I was scared, and with every video I'm less and less scared. I'm more and more comfortable and relaxed. And I can't tell you how it works, but it works. And I'm not even worried about my accent. I know that my accent, I don't speak perfect English with British accent, although I've lived here for 30 years. Maybe I should, but I don't. That's me. So with this change came a lot of acceptance towards me as well. Maybe it comes with age as well. I don't care how I will be perceived, how I will be, if I will be criticized, or if I'm gonna get bad comments. This is gonna enrich me, and I know, even bad comments. But I'm still new on YouTube, so this is like a journey again. The first one was a solo journey through Asia, and it taught me so much. And now I am on the journey with YouTube, where I have to show up every week and say something quite personal about myself, because this journey is very personal, and I want to share it because maybe it's going to help someone as well to shift. So my advice to start with, if you are not sure where to start, and if you are in the same process of repeating the same patterns, that you're doing something and you're not finishing, or you're scared of showing yourself, or you're abandoning your projects, you're really abandoning yourself. So if you want to practice, because I think you have to start practicing showing up for yourself before you start finalizing any projects, buy yourself a notebook. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can be a cheap notebook from a £1 shop, and just start writing 3 pages of what's going on in your head, in your heart. 3 pages every day. This is morning pages. This is what I started with the Artist Way book, where you have to write in the morning. As soon as you wake up, make yourself a cup of coffee and start writing. It doesn't matter what comes out. What will come out is negativity, maybe for a couple of months, 3 or 4 months. But that's not the point. The point is that you will see these patterns of your thinking. And I will be repeating it many times, because this is the first thing that helped me, honestly. Because I was proving to myself that I am showing up for myself. I couldn't do anything else. This is the only thing that I was like doing from start to finish. I did this book 3 or 4 times in a row. So it took me maybe 2 years or 3 years, constantly. And it took me to the other part of the world. I built so much courage that I could just go on my own. And now I have the courage to sit in front of you and talk to you. Although my accent is not perfect, although it's very difficult for me to put my thoughts together, this is my journey. And if it's going to help you, that's a bonus. It's going to be our journey then. I'll be very, very happy if I helped you in any way. So a small step, buy yourself a notebook and a pen and maybe highlighter, maybe some crayons if you want to be a bit creative, because you will have to do the artist dates as well. So create a little creative projects to open something up in your mind and see what happens. You've got nothing to lose. And this is achievable. This is something very achievable. And maybe you also come to a conclusion one day that the Sisyphus hard work is not needed. And just show up to your morning pages. Nothing else. Fingers crossed for you. I linked the title of the book underneath. And I will be visiting different chapters of this book, and I will be sharing how I worked through them and what insights I had, and maybe they will help you as well. And I'll be very curious to find out what insights you were getting when you were writing your morning pages, because you will start getting them and they are wonderful. I will be reading every comment and I will be replying to every comment. See you.